Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've made a tutorial or breakdown video. It's mostly been music on my channel, and also I want to thank you guys for 100 subscribers and over 800 views on that breakdown video I did a long time ago, which is very sick. Thank you guys for all the support. And also I recently put out a remix for the In the Mix competition, so I'll put a card in the top right corner and a link in the description so you can have a listen and tell me what you think about it. Yeah, so today's video is gonna be a breakdown of that exact song. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more of these tutorials. I will upload them regularly, and also my own music, as well as some lmms breakdown videos hopefully, but lately I haven't been using lmms too often, and I've been just starting off with a lot of Ableton stuff because it's very good. Ableton is such a good software, I love it. I noticed that a lot of you who watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you would just press that button, you can unsubscribe anytime, and it will just help me up a lot by just pressing one click on that button. So let's get right into the breakdown. Let's have a listen to the intro. Right, so the vocals aren't in yet, so we have some background elements here, some melodic stuff. First off, we have the piano, which is Addictive Keys. I got this amazing plugin with my MIDI keyboard. It's just some standard background harmony thing. It's not really doing much. Then we have this. Just a really common pluck sound that you can make by automating the filter. You see I have this LFO doing a sweep down on the filter and the volumes of these oscillators, and the effects are just like some basic stuff, and I just wanted to make the intro like really melodic. So there's the pluck, and then we got one of the pads that I took from the remix pack, the stems, and really quiet, you didn't even hear it basically, but I just thought the intro was a bit empty, so it needed a bit of filling up. Then we got one of these bell things that I made using FM. So basically it's just two sine waves, really simple. I just put the modulator on +4 octaves, turn the volume down, and then I just did FM from B. And then there's a low pass filter doing like the pluck thing. As I talked about earlier, that's how you get the shape of your sound. Then I just added some hyper for some space, distortion to make it a bit loud, and then some reverb, because you know, bells need reverb. That's how you get this really melodic sounding bell thing. And it's also really easy for how good it sounds. I literally love this sound so much. So I put in ambient rain sounds and city noise stuff. Basically adds to the atmosphere of the entire intro, so combining all those elements together, you get a really melodic and atmospheric tone. Next part is where the vocals come in. So we have two copies. We have the first vocal. Maybe it's not the wind throwing you off your feet again. I froze this so we can't actually tweak the settings, but it's okay, we can still see the effects. So what we have here is some delay and grain delay for like the sparkly effect, and then we have OTT and reverb, just standard vocal processing stuff, and then we have maybe it's not the wind, 1 octave higher. It's just the exact same vocal, just an octave higher, and I delayed it by 2 milliseconds, so that was just something that someone suggested for me while I was making this song. Yeah, it turned out really good. Maybe it's not the wind throwing you off your feet again. Also like more reverb, and it's a bit quieter than the lead, of course. It's just use as a layer to change the sound a bit. And then you notice there's a bit of echo manually added to the vocals, so I just solo the vocals for now.
Maybe it's not the wind throwing you off your feet again. Could it be that the odds of your confidence wavering?
So that was a cool thing that I copied off other songs. I really like this effect because it kind of adds to like the whole world of this intro thing here, with the echo that is like sounding really different from the original. So what I've done is just like saturated a lot of this vocal, and then I low passed it so it would sound like muffled and warm. So this auto filter is on OSR filter mode, which enables this drive, which is basically distortion kind of thing, and I just drove it up 4 decibels and ran it through reverb and then another saturator, and then I cut it off here to make it sound really warm and without bright high ends. You see, if I play this, you don't hear any of the high end at all. That's how you get to hear that like walkie-talkie kind of tone. And then I have auto pan for like the left-right sweeping, so you get a sense of the space, and just a chorus to like widen the sound. Very simple thing to do. All you need is saturation and then a low pass, and you basically have vocals sounding like that. And yeah, over here I have a really quiet re-space. It's really quiet, you can barely hear it, but it adds to like the sub of the intro to make it less, you know, cheesy sounding. And then I have so here I have 2 layers of a serum and a xylophone playing this. So xylophone is just a free VST, is like E-Xylo. It sounds pretty nice, pretty good. Almost like that bell thing I made before. This is just like a sine wave pluck thing. I like to use sine waves for like these really calm stuff, because sine wave is just, unlike other waveforms, it's not that, you know, rich in harmonics. Really simple sounding and smooth, and not too many high overtones that will like make it sound too exciting. And then I took like the guitar or something, and then I did something with the grain delay to turn it into like some background element that's not even like tonal anymore. So I just EQ'd it a bit so it wouldn't interfere with a lot of stuff. Add some reverb to push it back in the mix, and then grain delay. So without the grain delay, it still sounds a bit like a guitar. And then I just completely messed it up with a grain delay, because why not? Then here we have a guitar VST. This is also free. It's like AGML2. You can get it from like vstfree.com or something. And then you have this patch.
Good luck.
Which it's basically used to like simulate what a guitar would sound like. Which basically is used for like a layer on top of the guitar layer here. It's basically a guitar. 2 guitars stacked on top of each other. Of course I made this one lower so it would, you know, be 2 octaves apart, and it'll be sounding wider and not mudding with each other. I got some cymbals here for the transition. Have like sweeping up and then sweeping down, and then this continues forever. For this build up part I just added some like synths. Probably should have added some reverb on this, but I didn't. So here we got a chord thing, which is like the pad. You just bring in the pad. Here is just like the same pluck from the beginning. I just did a filter automation to make it slowly come up. Then we have these 2 chords here that thicken everything up. I added a vocoder because I haven't used vocoder in a long time, and I just wanted to experiment with how it sounds, and it's really cool. If I just use modulator with itself, it's actually pretty good sounding. It's just vocoder.
Calling, you have to feel brave. Your fortune is constant, your sight tends to sway.
So you heard the vocals over there. I actually added 2 more layers here, which play slightly different stuff.
Calling, you have to feel brave.
So I just like auto-tuned it like crazy and then panned it left, right, just like that. And this basically plays an entire chord with the vocals. Like each track is playing a different note of the chord, and then when you play them together, you get the whole thing.
Calling, you don't have to feel brave.
I'm really sorry for the distortion. My CPU is going to crash very soon. So let's move on to the build-up. Here is just exactly the same basically, but I just added some build-up drums and some effects right here. This is just you know, the auto pan is doing all the pattern stuff, and then I have just a detuned saw with 12 semitone pitch, and I can just move the pitch wheel as it goes into the drop. And then I also have the filter that is automated as it goes up, so it starts from really quiet and then it goes really exciting over time. Yeah, you get the idea. And then some effects here. You always need white noise to boost your build up a bit, and then you have the drums. Same drums as the drop here, and yeah, it's pretty simple. Not a lot of stuff added here. So after this we have like the drop section. I'll let you listen to it. Hopefully it doesn't distort this like crazy.
What you thinking over?
So just a really like standard pattern here for the growls. I can't show you them because they're frozen, but I can probably unfreeze it right now to show you this. Okay, so we have this is like a Virtual Riot preset that I tweaked a bit. I just use his macros because they're actually really good sounding. So flangy growls, I really like flangy growls. And you got the second bass. This one is like resampled VR. So I got one of his growls and then I just dragged it into the wavetable, and then I just started automating the position and bend minus and a filter with less mix, because band filters, they focus on like specific bands, and then that can like narrow down your sound, so you don't want full band pass on it. Here I got some phasers and chorus to like add that space phasey flangy effects on there. I really like that on growls, and I got the hyper for like the chorus effect kind of thing. And then down here we got this bass right here. So I just used the standard Trilobite 2 wavetable from the default wavetables, and then I made this pattern using LFO1 to do the wow 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 thing. And then I put on the high pass peak filter to do all that movement kind of stuff. Like, yeah, so it just moves according to like this shape here. LFO2 is actually on the position and bend minus, so like it sweeps along the wavetable while this pattern is playing, so every wob is kind of sounding different from each other. And then you got distortion, some OTT, and then same chorus flangy filter thing, and that's like the bases in the entire song here. So we got some saw stacks here for the chords. Very basic detune saw, everybody can do that. This is just like the same pad that's playing in the intro. Yes. Then we have the leads. I actually use a snippet of the original vocal, and then I did the the saturation low pass thing to make it sound really muffled. So here I did like a kind of EQ, like a bandpass thing, and then OTT for processing some vocoder to like muffle up the sound, and then saturator, reverb, and then the EQ at the end to remove the high frequencies. So without this EQ, it's gonna sound pretty bad. Yeah, it doesn't sound the way I want it, so I had to do a low pass to remove the high frequencies. Yeah, so here I had like some glide for like the note slide, and up here I have another lead layer to fill up the high frequencies that I took out from the vocal here, so it would add to the strength of the leads to make it stand out a bit. Then you got the bass and the sub bass here. Let's have a listen. So the bass is just standard distorted stuff. I got a square wave and a saw wave. Basic shapes. I just EQ'd the sub from the bottom, and then I just did some overdrive and tube distortion, and then some reverb for the tail here. So this pattern is just octaves going like this to give it like a bit of movement. The sub bass, however, doesn't move, because if you want a really powerful sub, it shouldn't move around too much. If it moves around too much, it loses its like strength a lot. Long sustained note for the sub bass is always very good. So we got the ARP. Two layers playing different stuff here. Basically a fast ARP layered with a slow ARP, and they're basically just really high notes with like reverb and delay. Nothing too special about those sounds. And then this drop is like 16 bars, so it's relatively short, and then I just looped it back to the intro. It's the exact same thing back here, except I just used like the second part of the vocal, so the words are different, I guess. And then in the intro I added like this like second section. I don't even know why I did this. It sounds completely off from the song, but I don't know why it sounds like some kind of game music, but it was just some experimental stuff that I decided to do. So here's like the bass. Just standard saw distorted sub, and then we got like the stuff here. So this is just a Virtual Riot sampled acapella thing from his songs, and I just added a lot of reverb and OTT and chorus to make it sound bright. So you can see here that while the vocal is playing, the other lead is not playing, it's just filling up the space in between. Kind of like a bit of syncopation, I guess. Then you got the ARP. Just put the slow ARP over it. It's just some addition to the melodic stuff. Then you got the drums. Then you got some percussion. And then here is some effects, like 8-bit effects. I just put like a redux on it, I think, yeah, and downsampled it. Without the redux, it sounds completely different. Let me turn off the frequency shifter. It's basically a shaker effect. And then I just have the same background sounds here. And in the second section, I just added some more instruments. So here is the exact same vocal lead from the drop, except it's a bit brighter. So I pulled down the filter a bit. And then I like put the notes higher than the drop section here, so it would sound like a pad almost. But this is just from the original sample here. So I found it a bit difficult to blend it back into the build-up, so I just copied some build-up elements into the second section of this weird 8-bit section to kind of, you know, overlap the elements a bit. So these 3 elements are from the drop, bass, and then you got like this pad, which is also from the build-up. Then you got the chords from in the second section because it leads into the build-up, and then in the build-up we have the exact same thing. It's just same as the first one. I think in the vocals here I added a frequency shifter that pitches the vocals up, so I can go like.
The future is calling. The future is
Basically, sounds cool, I guess. A bit metallic sounding and spooky as well. And then the second drop is basically the exact same thing as the first drop, except the melody is a bit different. Yeah, everything is the exact same thing as the first drop, it's just the melody is slightly altered. Then we have the outro here. Few elements that I copied from the intro section, so here is the bell sound that we got in the intro. Now this sound is just the lead vocal drop thing with the saturator low pass. And here I have the piano and the saw pluck playing, which is also what's playing in the intro basically. And all the elements here are just the same, except I added some vocals here.
Maybe it's not a chance, but yourself that you're waiting for. Don't consider the odds.
Basically using the vocals as kind of echo thing for the outro to make it a bit more memorable, I guess. Then you got all this like the effects, downlifters and the cymbals here, and then you have the quiet city and the ambient rain playing at the end. So that's the overall structure of how this song was made. I hope you learned a few techniques here, especially on this lead vocal here. To recap, all I did was add saturation and then low pass at the end to make it sound muffled. And yeah, I hope you learned something today. I hope you found this entertaining to look into the project of this song. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content here on the channel. I will be uploading regularly music and tutorials and other videos on Ableton and lmms, so stick around. I'll see you in another video.